Aqua and Vino continue their dominance. Will anybody be able to finally catch them up? Who will show what they can do as we head into the last couple games of the FNCS? That remains the question.
Question for a few more games. Remember, there are big changes in pricing all the way across the board for even some of the teams that are 40th, maybe dead last and 50th right now. You can rise to the occasion, have a few more good games, change your destiny for this FNCS so far.
There is always something to play for, even if it is just pride. And at the Joneses, plenty of pride being felt for the team that wins this fight. Savid wants to be on that side of things.
No way.
Going down. It's Booback that will take him out, and Jackpo looks like he might be following him. Hit some nice shots onto Fury, a bit of a HP trade. And the knock will come through. Doesn't seem like he'll get the finish, but prioritizing, looking to heal up. Will Booback chase him down? Booback actually will get his finish onto Savid, the Siphon coming in. And so now a fight here in the jail cells. Who will come out on top? They're in the same box now. It's just a stair separating them. And Booback wants to get rid of that distance. And he will. The elimination will go his way. Savid and Jackpo continue their struggles. Booback and Fury celebrating as well.
We like to see it. What that is, too, is a fast fight at the Joneses. Didn't see that in the previous games at all. What I like to see is how these guys affect the rest of the lobby now. We're going to have an extra team moving in from the right side. Zone locking in. It's completely Western zone with a little bit more of that big circle of Zone 1 inside the water. What that means for a team like Restguard is it might be time to move faster than usual. For the east side of this Fortnite Island 11, they're now put on a much faster timer.
Yeah, and that's really one of the reasons why it's good that that Joneses fight went a lot quicker than some of the ones we've seen. You can't afford to spend too much time fighting in the zone or chasing your way in. We see the effects of that. You end up spending so much of the resources you work so hard to acquire.
And right now for Usuri, and we like to call him Max Force. Not sure if he is Max Force today.
Both of them have their names, Max Force and Maxry.
Maxry, yes. Very, very true. They're doing the opposite of what we're claiming, right? Finish your fight fast, run straight to the zone. They're going all the way down to the south. This is kind of a western, maybe towards the north as well. It's where the zone tends to pull when this first one locks in. They're kind of setting their own traps for now. They're going to be lost in the zone soon.
Well, that is definitely the case. I think they'll hope that they can close this one out quickly. They've already picked up one of these eliminations, and so just cleaning it up, making sure you get the final player. But this is one of the other sides of Surge, right? We spent a lot of game one talking about how, you know, you'll look for good positions and try and get tags when you're sitting on a hill or something. A lot of these teams will also look for these isolated fights, right, in the edges of the map. Because, you know, Axos and Yushi, they knew there's not going to be anybody near us right now. We have time to fight an actual 2v2 or 2v1 in that instance. And so they deal with their Surge that way, and then they can focus on getting into the zone.
Oh, fire in a fight of his own as well. Went crazy on all sides. Trying to see if they can just relieve this pressure right now. Scram will not be able to do it with Bills. We'll try to use bullets instead, but not sure if the vocabulary that's starting with B is going to help them at all for the moment. The Siptos, Reason, finally looking alive. 35th so far, at one point 50th overall. They're climbing the rankings slowly.
Mowed them down. Very interesting, right? Because one of the big things we talked about endlessly coming into the finals was, would anybody dare to trespass in the Butter Barn area? Would anybody step to the Siptos and Reason, the bosses of this area? And in this game, it doesn't quite work out. And what that means now as well for the Siptos and Reason is that they have their own Whiplash, right? Something that I'm sure they will be ecstatic about, something that they probably didn't anticipate having in many games. And so we'll see if they can make great use of it in this game. Of course, one of the few vehicles that you can actually get in competitive anymore. And so in some respects, it's a huge advantage for positioning and timing. You're much quicker than everybody else who just are running on feet. But also, you stick out like a sore thumb. The only vehicle in the game, everybody decides it's their time to take shots at you once they see you. And even if just taking out your tires, right, can almost immobilize you in that sense.
No repair torch in competitive playlists, so there's no way to get those tires back either. Snazy might not have a whiplash, might not have tires, but still looking to drive through and roll over this team below him and Podesai. Looking for a few shots, not going to find many right now. They're both going to be affected a little bit by the retaliation from this basement team, Flois and Mappy. looking to clap back in this fight, also on a timer. It's edge zone 11, you mentioned moments ago. It's really good to take isolated fights here for that Storm Surge. There's a third team coming in, looking to take a bite of the pie.
Yeah, and this fight isn't as isolated, right? A lot of these teams towards the east of the map obviously congregating around this area. And Floris and Mappy feeling the effects of that now as shots are coming from all different angles and sides. Snazy gets taken out. Mappy hitting big, putting the weight of the team on his shoulders and delivering. Both eliminations going to him. Siren and Nazvi will hear this fight though. And as they're one of the teams with less experience, they instantly want a third party and they will. Siren takes out Floris. Mappy now, even after hitting such huge shots, there's only so much he can do. The med miss might get him up to 100 effective HP. But will he be able to fend off against these two young, hungry players who need damage for Storm Surge? It's very unlikely. They're looking a lot stronger than he is when it comes to their HP. And they will just wipe him out. Mappy, the highs and lows of a competitive Fortnite game, was on top of the world after hitting 2, but swiftly taken out by the Orcadia duo.
That's the equivalent of, here's a math lesson, a sinusoidal function. So if you wanted a lesson today, if you have an advanced functions class and you wanted a reminder of studying some notes, it's slightly advanced, but you know, it goes up and down.
Well, my maths is very limited, but
Yeah.
I can count. And I count that this is the team in second place.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's also very advanced. You have to know where to look. You have to know that 2 is under 1. Usually it goes 1, 2, right? But in this instance, it's different.
How can they go from 2 to 1?
Pray that Vino and Aqua fall asleep at their PCs. Because I feel like a bad game from Vino and Aqua is, for half this lobby, a good one in getting them above in the boards.
Yeah, most definitely. It is really difficult, especially when you're banking on your biggest competition to start to slip up, right? Never something that you want to be in a position for. Andy and Joe will be hoping they can have a better game, right? Going down relatively early in that previous game. Clown and Grows, Clown and Grows, I'm throwing myself back to last season. Clown no longer plays with Grows. Clown is playing this season with Refscard. Grows is also in this lobby playing with Shizo. But these two in 7th place now definitely have been a dark horse team in this competition so far, and one that will continue to try and make waves in endgames. And this zone definitely is one that will benefit them getting there. Stompy and Joe, I'll be interested to see, Shayo, where they stand once Storm Surge starts to make itself a presence in the lobby, right? Of course, very isolated in the far sort of east of the map. Have they been able to do any damage to any teams? You can see, looking for an opportunity there, Drew is not connecting with any shots. There was the opportunity, and actually taking more damage than he's actually able to hand out right now.
Trippin' Thomas looking to deal that same type of damage.
That's how you do damage. That's how you deal with Storm Surge there.
He was looking like Vino with those tags.
Well, look, no, he's looking at Thomas HD. Remember?
Really?
He is that guy.
He's the OG.
He is that guy, right? In terms of, you ask top players, you ask anybody who follows the Fortnite competitive scene, who are the best aimers. Not only will you have plenty of people telling you Thomas HD is the one, you'll also have the whole country of Denmark backing him in that regard as well, coming together as one.
All the way at the top, doesn't matter what weapons are in the game or vaulted.
Another max pull towards the west.
This is trouble for the whole lobby. Watch some duos kind of moving all around the map. Let's just see what the activity looks like here with Mini Miner.
Thank you, Shai. Now, we just saw that Cammy has one of the purple striker pump shotguns. And usually we talk about how good the Cammy split loot is, but he was able to find one of the epic rarity crows that fly around the map and able to pick up some extra loot from their drop spot.
Caw-caw! It's kind of nice, you know? You look at chests, you look here and there. Sometimes you gotta look at the skies, man.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you never know what they can give you. And in this case, if we see him start popping off with that in the end game, we'll know exactly who it was. Shio himself delivering it in game via Crow.
I am the Crow. That's the one that people were supposed to figure it out. You know, we were leaving cryptic messages.
Well,
But here we are. Now you know what dictates the zones. Now you know what's in Benji Fishy's blood. It's Crow. Maybe not. But regardless, taking out Artur, they've been struggling a little bit, Levin. This day might be what they kind of need, a mental refresh, a reset in attacking the FNCS.
Yeah, of course. Benji, Savage, in terms of a fan base, I don't think anybody rivals them in this lobby. They probably have the most supporters, most people wanting them to do incredibly well. We'll see if the talk of a in-person event will be the motivation that they need to start getting back to top form. One of the few duos that's actually competed together as a duo in previous in-person events, right? So they have a leg up on the rest of the world right now. We'll see how long they keep that for. But they definitely need to start getting some more points on the board in this FNCS.
Chicho Trulex, I feel like defied expectations on day number 1 in terms of how high they actually strike. So I feel like they'd be middling more so than anything else, maybe even struggling with some of the teams around them. Rocky Real's completely uncontested. Maybe had one invader on day number 1. At the same time, Tayson Chapix, you know, many talks about loadouts. Theirs looking fine, and we went over in that segment between games why they struggled so much. That zone pulled so far away, had to lose a lot of the launch pads, lose a lot of the chug splashes. Basically, the shine of Command Cavern was just not there.
Yeah.
This time, though, they have the tools for destruction.
Yeah, we'll see though, right? Because as much as the loadout looked phenomenal, they're good on Surge, healthy in that regard. They obviously were low on materials as well. Well, Tayson at least was. But the good thing about this Command Cavern area is that the materials here are phenomenal. It's why a lot of the times you'll see these teams leave this area with max materials or just about that, as we have in the case of Aqua here. But this position on the blimp, this was why when the season started and there were multiple blimps all around the map, people were so ecstatic about the opportunities for Surge there, right? You sit up on a blimp and you can do exactly what Aqua's doing right now. You literally have so much vision of the rest of the lobby. Of course, now that isn't the case around the map, but it is still the case for Command Cavern. They have this available to them, and you're seeing how they can make use of it. They need to start connecting with more shots, though. You can see that tag there puts them 66 below. Another tag will help them as well. But they need to keep hitting shots. Vino is accustomed to doing that. Yesterday, Shayo, it felt like he couldn't miss at times. Is he still feeling it after waking up today?
I mean, Aqua must think so if you're just looking at the disparity of ammunition between the two.
Yeah.
He's got about 200 rounds. Aqua has about 80 sitting in case a fight breaks down, in case Raisin and Pena get bored all the way up top at the Command Cavern spot. Vino is just hitting shot after shot, influencing just the destinies of duels walking around. One of them is Fadil, yeah. I mean, I wondered who he got white tags on. How does that look? This is just gonna be tough. Back in the old days when you had something lifted up to your face and shaked it, it was a rip to go. You were easy in the air, breezy. This time Fadil, all he can do is just delay with his med mist, hopefully get in form to start running. But look at who he has to face. You got Playwell on the right, and Queasy in the business too. He's got more than just a mountain to climb.
Yeah, this is not a situation any competitor wants to be in. All these top aimers looking at you as you have minimal amounts of builds to actually work your way in, sorry.
Minimal amounts of builds and sometimes even space. Clown taken down, talked about the zone possibly influencing his timing. It's Andretta, who they were kind of jumping into the POI beforehand. Maybe taking too much space. He wins that fight. Thomas HD picking up Grolls. And Zrox and Kovacs in their own type of fight against Jackson and Vico. Usually Jackson Vico, very hard to take down, very good at initiating fights. If they start to go a little bit longer, that's where the weakness is. And very good control from Zrox to put up those walls above the pyramid. Very, very fast decision making, and it buys time for Kovacs to wrap all the way around, land that final shot, and just clean up the fights.
We'll see where this takes them though in the journey of having a good game. Of course, Zrox not working with much in terms of a loadout. Materials as well are absolutely shambolic, and so they'll need to start farming, but there are so many teams around them, and maybe their solution with that will just be to take another fight.
Oh, this is troublesome though. What is the option here, Zrox? Just, yeah, go with your teammate, don't interrupt the box. 50-50, let's see if it was the right decision, because zone is moving. Maybe go back to that cannon, use it as a way to completely fly in. That's exactly what Kiko wants to do. He's gonna be up in the air. Ju and Stomp, you have to just slide by and snowboard down this mountain.
Yeah, Ju and Stompy, they're gonna have to try and look to see if they can get towards the other side of Command Cavern, they are wary of other teams,
Oh,
other
man.
players in and around, and that's why that team actually will use the scan, and so they'll be aware of where Stompy and Ju are. And so that makes their chances even more difficult. Ref's guard, though, does get taken out, and so him and Clown won't have the chance to push their way up the standings now.
DK's bad sniper as well during that replay going down in the feed, so a bunch of these nice mid-low ground teams not going to be there for the moment. Said he cannot say hi to Fury up top. Unfortunate. The Eagle massive on that one? No, it's just a fly glide. Kemi said that last game set themselves up to be in a good spot. It feels like they have trouble executing that final finish.
Yeah, it's difficult, right? On all those layers, right? Especially in mid-gun in that game where there was massive changes in elevation, the bounce back zones, having to go through old builds. The way this zone is looking to pan out, I don't think it'll be any easier for them, but it will be a different challenge and maybe one that they are more accustomed to. We often see the zone pull towards this west side. I feel like I've watched this game and this lobby play out in this way so many times this season. And this is something I'll be really happy to see play out. Malibuka Mustache now looking more likely to have a game where they actually get to play as a duo in the end game. What can Tayson and Uguay do though here?
Pick up another big refresh. This is one thing we were setting up in the previous game. The teams that get eliminations before this 4th and 5th zone locks in, they've bolstered up and used so many mats to be in these spots, to be in a position to use Surge. One big thing for an endgame checklist is to have max mats, is to be good on the heals that you have as well, and they get a full refresh of it. I'll just use that launch. They're still pushing forward with maximum aggression. Tayson does not want to stop this rain of damage, but now it's multiple teams are looking at. Their backs are towards just the zone. They're on a little bit of a timer, but just have to move forward slightly. They have 20 seconds of time and just Asvi in front of them.
I like how aggressive they're getting with things. They knew that guy was solo, and so they thought, look, we are two of the best players in the game right now. It wouldn't hurt to get the extra 3 elimination points.
Thomas HG, Tripper, and 2 launch pads on screen. A lot of people have smiles on their faces right now. They're happy. Every time I see them with this West Zone, with a game that's set up, it's 3 launch pads, by the way, between the both of them. I see them trip and fall. I think I remember Season 7, FNCS. They had this awesome bounce back in this type of zone as well, near the mountains, and they tripped up one bad decision, maybe just a little bit too comfortable with their loot. I don't want that happening right now.
Yeah, the big thing is for them is that when it comes to like an end game checklist, they are looking very strong, right? Materials potent, and the storm surge dealt with, and the pads acquired. It's all about now delivering, not having any sort of hiccups, not over peaking, not messing up your edits, and making sure that they stick to what they know best.
It's holding that high ground. And I feel like one of the things is if they try to go a little bit too early, if they try to be a bit too risky, opened up in the air, like a Nos kind of was trying to catch up the pink, had to have been off of one of the rifts that just spawn around. He'll be solo, have that pad to use, but Thomas and Tripper, for anyone that's kind of controlling height and starting off high, we've seen what Aqua and Vino can do. My man Aqua, ruthless, walked up the Hen yesterday, 185 to the dome, and Hen and Queasy looks so good on height level.
Yeah, look, it was a very fun high ground take. I expect to see more fun high ground takes today. It's interesting, though, that we've seen with these last 2 POVs, Pink, Anas, Trip, and Thomas, both teams that land at Command Cavern, but teams that deviated away from it and now are having to sort of return to this area. And on one side, you're seeing a team in a struggling position where Pink doesn't have Anas with him. The other, Thomas and Trippin, look a lot stronger, but the zone will be beneficial to both teams.
And for the teams that have stayed here for most of the time, haven't deviated and moved, Tayson, Uguay, I feel like these guys, if Command Cavern was a computer, if it was code, they're the malware. They're just spreading slowly throughout every single type of cave and deleting player after player, line after line, code after code.
These guys are playing their game out. This is how they like to play. Of course, this pad now will push them into zone, and it'll put them in a perfect position now as they move forward. But they realize the challenge that faces them. They know the stakes. They understand what they have to do in order to start catching up to the dominance of Aqua and Vino. But that's a challenge that they are always going to be ready to face.
That's the one thing we've seen so far throughout the day, right? Is Aqua and Vino going to every other POI, going into other people's living rooms and just taking control of everything. This time, we're in their home. That being said, though, some type of rocky relationships happening at the family reunion over at Command Cavern. Aqua Vino have straight a little bit away towards one of the North Hills, and they're getting affected heavily. Aqua now down to 0 HP, taken out. All up to Vito to keep moving forward, and we've seen him clutch a couple of times. Dynamic in that cannon, but it's not going to go too far. Breaks a little bit of the metal. Nice to keep pushing in, but costed him so much. Now down to 6, 7, 5, 4 mats and no HP. The zone's not even done just yet. It's another max pull, and he's maxed out. First place down.
In a game where you would have thought the zone would have benefited them so much, a hiccup, a trip, and maybe a fall if Tayson and Uruguay can continue their line of dominance in this game. We'll see whether now that leaves some space up for high ground. We've seen how they've dominated it. They've claimed it so much better than everybody else. But in this game now, who will be the ones to step up? Thomas and Trippin in the middle of your screens might be a team to do so. Astro now is a solo. Looking to try and stay in the game as long as he can. He needs to do some damage though, and a lot of it, and fast. Looking to recycle another launch pad that keeps him in the air just that bit longer. Some extra time to pick where he will land, and it's such a crucial decision to make.
Oh my goodness, gliding so far and right into another box, but he's blocked off. Marco Clinberry, don't go down easy. That's a pick. Look up in the sky though. Second place looking to take first and third right behind him. Seti, Cammy, Uruguay, Tayson, Hen, Chatmix, Vettel, Lotix, all in the air.
So many Titan duos, all making use of the natural rifts that spawn in this area. The map knowledge is fine, but who will be the ones to take height? It's Kinzo and Nebs holding it in the meantime, but so many great teams. They need to hit big shots to scare everybody away from it. That is their goal. Can Nebs do what he's done so many times before and hit mighty high shots?
It's raining men, but this duo is not saying hallelujah. They're gonna hit that launch pad, half it, no, it's a full one, and just completely give things up for now. Want a sense of a little bit of less chaos. The Andy is now part of the business as well. Here's Thomas HD and Trippern looking for a big glide, pumped in the skies. The Andy now fighting for height, looking to see what he can do, building up and using a bunch of his mats, but still has a lot of them in control. Splashes to use as well. Kinzel now down to Trippern. Vettel taking out Sox as well on the feed. Uruguay taking out Kefi on his own lair. It is the Andy and Joe with control.
These guys have held on to it. We know they like to play high ground. They've not had much of an opportunity to do so. But it's these guys here on low that you need to fear. Fury, wiped out, crushed. Malabuka, Mustache, they are ready. Can they stay together though? Can they continue to clear out these players below? Janice lurking as a solo in the backside. They're gonna try and snip him out. They hear him and they will wipe him out. A big shot from Malabuka, but no, he gets taken out as well. Mustache now is a solo again. What can he do? The time's ticking. He needs to hit a big shot. He needs to stay alive. Just down to 4 builds. What can he do in this instant? Can he hit a big shot? It's going up the hill. Things are so difficult. He needs to just drop down now. That's his only real hope. He's desperately searching for something, and he picks up some extra builds that will get him up the hill. But the risk is still there. He needs to do something. Malabuka gets a knock, but it's not enough.
He is down. It'll be Trippern distracting him, taking him out. Now Cammy also struggling to get back to just a little bit of a level playing field. Z, Andy, and Joe have not made this easy for any duo down below, but for Reason and the Ziptos, they're in their element. The grasslands, survival. Cammy and Seti now fighting them, but Sandwich from the top side in trouble. This rain's gonna be lethal, doing a lot of damage to both HP pools. And also somehow has a solo in the fray, looking for a few shots, and he takes down another. Huge for him. Clinberry gone. A big siphon that he needs. More Medvis in the inventory as well. Reason the Ziptos taken out, back to just 3 teams. Seti, Cammy, can they hit that 9th zone, 8th zone revive?
You can see Seti's vying for it, but it's a time in there. It doesn't seem like it's Yandy and Joe. They're getting impatient now. They want these eliminations for themselves. They understand that they have the man advantage, and so looking to drop down. Yandy will hear the sound cues, but does he know where Seti is? Seti quickly blocking off the top as he tries to find some solace, tries to find some security. Joe just searching around Hen, trying his best. But eventually, someone's gonna have to strike. They can't all just continue to sit here and wait, cross their legs, fold their arms. Somebody has to make a move.
Seti now out of mats. Joe and Andy have stayed silent. Treating it like a 1930s movie right now. They're waiting for the suspense. The narrator transition screen. Seti now down below. He's gonna be the first one to fall down to the dark plot. Hen's the one to pick him up, but he's inside the zone. 34 HP down to 24. The big blocks, the edits from Joe. The big chop down towards the end. Can he find the mantle wraparound? No, now it's a reversal, but Hen's on a sliver of HP. Chopped down, blocked out. Jones and Andy, the South Side, taking claim from a mountainous VR.
Day one was very impressive. They surprised a lot of players. Day two started with a little bit of a hiccup, but they came through the next game after and showed everybody why they are class, top class. Ran out of mats at the end, but that didn't faze them. They kept their composure and they dealt with an FNCS champion like it's easy work. Yandy and Joe are continuing to shine in the FNCS final.